My name is Izzy Trubshaw, and I am a reporter for the Guildford Dragon News. Today I'm here with Christopher Howe and Desiree Kongarod to discuss their upcoming show, Rabbits Out of the Hat, which is coming to Farnham and Maltings on the 29th of May. So this performance is primarily a magic show, but it's not really limited to that because it also follows a narrative of Norville and Josephine, who are performing a magic act in 1905 for the Grand Impresario. And as the show develops, Josephine, who's the assistant of the show, isn't so keen to stick to her traditional role, and Norville is he has to make the decision whether or not to enforce that tradition or to embrace the change. So I haven't seen the show, and unfortunately, I can't actually come to the show, but I'm here to learn more about it and encourage all our listeners and readers to buy some tickets and come to Fun and Maltings on the 29th. So my first question is about breaking this traditional barrier of a magic show, because that's what I thought was really interesting is that you follow this narrative. So what was the inspiration behind that? Is that something you typically do in all your shows? You follow a narrative alongside the magic?
I trained in theater, so I've always loved the theatrical side of things and how magic can be made more theatrical. And I'd always been yearning to get more of uh, a deep story with Norval and Josephine, as much as a comedy can be. And so this has really been the this project to weave a story together that uses the magic and circus skills that we have with musical style songs, and just to weave that into this story about Norval and Josephine, this brother and sister who've inherited their parents' magic show, but are learning really to do it as they beat to their own drum.
Mm. And so what can we expect to see as the audience? So you're saying that there's going to be magic, narrative, you're saying music as well. Is that going to be just background music or singing or yeah, what can we
No,
expect to see?
we have the wonderful Micah Young, our composer from New York, who's done specific, the songs that fit the storyline. Many hours of talk between us on Zoom to find out exactly what we need in the songs to make everyone understand the story.
And the
Yeah.
storyline itself, where was the inspiration for that? Because for me, there was a sort of parallel between, as a duo, both of you, when you're performing, you're breaking those traditional limits of a magic show by having this narrative. And then it seems like there's a parallel with that within the storyline itself. You've got Josephine, who doesn't want to stick to the traditional limits of a magic show. So was that parallel something that you guys thought about? Where did the inspiration come from?
We kind of found it on our feet just in workshopping it and figuring out through experimentation what is the story that we want to tell, and how we can best use the magic uh, to tell different kinds of stories. So we had many different, um, I guess, options of stories that we wanted to tell, and so it kind of organically developed just through the years of experimentation with it.
Because most people see a woman and a man on stage and they go, oh, the husband and wife, or they're lovers. And we realized that for us to really tell the story, we couldn't have that stereotypical idea in audience's mind. And that's where the brother and sister relationship then developed.
And is there a big challenge in producing a magic show with a narrative, or actually is the narrative aiding the magic show? Because the only magic shows I've ever seen have been, act after act, like you were saying. But is the narrative something that helps weave it all together and makes it easier, or is that a challenge?
It makes it much harder.
Okay.
It's that's probably why no one does it. But I mean, I was really inspired by the in the 1970s in the US. I would see clips and videos and so forth. There was a magician called Doug Henning who was a legend in the US. He was really a household name, and he had a musical that was on Broadway, musical magic show. And it was, I mean, very different to today's taste. I'd say it probably wouldn't fly too much today. But one of the collaborators on that project said that, back in the day, that everyone had already seen someone being cut in half before, but it was the first time in any show that someone got to know the person inside the box well enough to care if they'd be put back together again. and for me, that was a huge kind of, I don't know, see the light moment because, if you do care about the characters on stage, you care a lot more about the magic they're doing and what's happening to them as the story unfolds. So that for me was a big kind of inspiration as we pushed forward on this through the through the hard times of working the story into the magic and vice versa.
Yeah, it has taken some time because of the different elements, the magic, the songs, the music, the storyline, the play. Uh, and there's what we find now is there's finding the right balance with all the elements as well. We are doing so we constantly do changes to try and improve the what the audience sees, what we want them to see and understand. And the latest changes has been really interesting because now Josephine's story is very strong because of the changes we've done. Before, Norval's story was very strong. And so we're playing with these subtleties that an audience feel rather than completely just logically get. And yeah, it's a fascinating journey.
So, what is it precisely in this show that you want the audience to feel and take away, having watched it?
One sentence, it's about finding your voice.
Mm.
You know, how can you be in the world with your voice? Um, that's really it, I'd
So,
say.
so on the back of that, then what is your target audience? Is it for everyone? Is it for, I mean, I know you're saying there's a comedic level to it, but then there's also musical and so forth. But with this core meaning behind the show and significance, it seems to me that it would be for everyone, or is there a particular?
It is exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
it's feeling that I'm really, I think whatever your age, the idea is that it's never too late to turn a new leaf and to really be yourself.
And in this show, is there anything that you can give away? Maybe not the secrets of your magic tricks, but something that really stands out for you and it would potentially excite an audience to encourage them and want them to come. A favorite part maybe of the show.
Well, I'm not sure of it, specifically about a favorite part, but I think the thing that really stands out is that everything that we do in the show, it's classic magic that people might already have an image of, whether it's something they might have seen in a film or an idea or a concept they've heard about um, in a magic show. But every scene, it's presented in a way that gives it a unique twist. And that's because of what's happening with the characters at that time, or so it's even if it is you think you might have seen it before, it's always with some sort of twist to it. And I think that people are so used to what's on their phones and whether it's kind of an AI generated image or that sort of thing. There is nothing that replaces seeing magic live, even strong classic magic, and they call it classic because it has survived the test of time. There's nothing that equals that, I think, because it's not something that a computer has done on your screen. It's you're seeing it with your own eyes. So that I think is the biggest takeaway and maybe the biggest surprise for audiences. That sort of impact that they get when they see a show like this.
It's such a delight when Josephine gets cut in half and you know, you see the kids' faces or the audience, especially the kids, they're like, no, no, you must, you know, and the gasp that happens
Yeah.
when she actually gets cut in half and the relief when she comes out whole.
Yeah. Hopefully. Hopefully.
Josephine's always relieved at that bit.
Yeah.
So that sort of brings me on to my next question, which is what for you both is the power of magic? Because I know Christopher, I was doing a bit of research, and you teach magic as a form of occupational therapy, and so I think you have probably seen the transformative effects of magic.
Well, I work with what you had mentioned with Breathe Arts Health Research, and Breathe teaches magic to young people with hemiplegia. And hemiplegia is a sort of it's a paralysis on one side of the body, so they have limited movement in their hand and on one side of the body. But particularly with the hands, we work with using the magic as this form of kind of fun occupational therapy that engages the presentation skills as well. So I think what I see with the Breathe camps is this complete transformation in believing in yourself. And I think that that is a big part of magic, that the real magical transformation is in each young person um, at the end of the 2 weeks to really see what they are able to achieve.
I mean, for me, it's theatricality and the idea of allowing people to create a world in their mind of something they're seeing on stage. You know, that it is magic, something that's otherworldly. And that kind of shifts, it puts you into another mindset as an audience. You are more open then, you know, to take in whatever information or message is coming through the play.
And has a magic trick ever gone wrong for either of you?
Never.
Never.
The most memorable was, I think, the first season that we were working together, at least for me. Probably for Desiree as well. But it was it was one of the first shows that we did, and due to technical um, time on stage, we didn't have time to run the whole act. And it was a dance floor stage, very, very shiny and bright. And anyways,
Black and white squares.
black and white squares, exactly. And so in the finale of that show, uh, Norval gets locked inside of a trunk. Josephine stands on top and throws the curtain up. And when it falls down, Josephine has disappeared. She is locked inside the trunk. And Norval is outside and he jumps down to get the key to get her out. Well, when Norval jumps down to get the key,
There's no
there
key.
is no key.
Yeah.
And there's also no curtain on the stage to drop. The key, because of this shiny stage, well, it had slid off to the edge of the stage and kind of hid itself along the edge in a bit of a gutter that kind of ran around the periphery of the stage. So there, Norval was traipsing around the stage, hoping there was
And
some
there
way to get her
Josephine
out
was inside going, ready to spring out.
Oh,
when the
And
lid
I
comes
hear,
off.
I hear, they can't find the key. And
so in
I
a moment like that, does it become sort of part of the narrative, or is it panic moment?
Well, funnily enough, people afterwards thought it was all part of the show. And I mean, we play a lot with so-called mistakes and the comedy of errors sort of thing.
yeah.
And someone in the audience did spot the key, thankfully. So we did manage to get her out. And I think the eyelashes were falling down her face. And
Well, let's hope nothing goes like wrong like that in the show, and nothing's gone wrong so far, I assume.
no, no, all
Well,
good.
when did you
Oh,
both
thank
start
you.
magic, or yeah, getting into this sort of?
Well, I got into magic in 2006 when I auditioned magicians to be their assistant, and Christopher was the best magician because he wanted to play.
Yeah.
So magic's been in my life since 2006.
I always loved putting on shows when I was a kid, so I maybe forced my sister to be my assistant, and I made a box to cut her in half when I was probably 9 years old. I put this box together, and my parents were very supportive and kind of helping me get all the paraphernalia that I needed to make the things I wanted to do. So I've been doing magic shows for a very long time since I was little.
I'm not sure if my sister said that I have to get in a box and she'd cut me in half, that I would get inside. So your sister
Well,
was very
guess what?
trusting.
Well, my sister didn't either, actually. She helped me with other things in the show, but she did not get in the box, even when I showed her
Okay.
how it worked.
Okay.
Ah,
Oh, so she's in on the secret of the magic there.
She's
Oh,
signed contracts though, so they're
NDA.
still binding since the age of 10.
Perfect. Well, on that note, I think we'll end it there. That was very interesting. Thank you very much. I really wish you the best of luck for your show in Farnham Maltings and
thank you.
for the future shows as well, and the future of your career as
Great.
Great.
well.
Well, thank
Great.
you so much.